everybody. Welcome to today's coffee chat. I'm Sierra Bush. I'm the founder of Creative Edge Travel, and I help people experience Italy's far-flung places, those fading traditions, and the phenomenal nature through genuine connection with the local people. And speaking of locals, today I'm talking to my friend Lucrezia from Tuscany with origins from Puglia in southern Italy. So she's got both areas going on. And I'm really excited about today's topic. I love to cook. I don't always have time to make handmade pasta, but when I do, I really want to do it right. So today I brought on Lucrezia to share some secrets from her kitchen about how to do handmade pasta and so we can kind of learn some tricks and tips for getting it just perfect by Italian standards. So thanks for joining us, Lucrezia. Ciao.
Thank you too. Ciao, Sierra. How are you?
I'm good. And we were kind of scrambling in the beginning to get going because you just finished teaching a class, a cooking class, right?
Yes, there is some flour here. Of course, it was online cooking class because at the moment it's a bit difficult to have a cooking class in person, but there is some flour here. Can you see? So I'm just having relaxed now. Thank you for inviting me.
Perfect. Yes. So you guys that are tuning in, drop us a cooking class, right? Oh, sorry.
Yes.
I'm organizing my pages so that I can see your comments. So I just wanted to say, if you're tuning in, please drop us a comment so that if you have questions while Lucrezia is here with us about how to make pasta or anything we talk about, drop us a comment. And also, if you're just here, please tell us hello so we know you're here. It always helps to see some actual names and faces popping up. So Lucrezia, first thing I want to ask you is, how did you learn to make pasta?
Yes, so I learned to cook with my mom and my grandmother when I was a child in South Italy. So I'm originally from the south, in Puglia. And when I was a child, I was rolling pasta with my mom and my grandmother. So then when I decided to start this project, I decided to attend many classes with professional chefs. But the origins are with my grandmother and my mom.
Oh, wow. I can imagine, as an American, we have so many scenes from movies of, the women in the kitchen making pasta and stuff. So I can perfectly see you with your mom and your grandma.
Yeah, so it was so much fun because in South Italy in particular, when you live in the countryside, they just give you a little piece of pasta and they say, now it's time of rolling and make some kind of shape as a cavatelli or a chiette. And then you improve your skills there with your families.
Ah, beautiful. So Lucrezia, you and I know each other from several years ago now. I actually had you at my house in the US just a year ago this month.
Yeah. Yes. True.
Yeah. So we know each other because you do amazing experiences for our Creative Edge travel guests in Italy, combining food with music. Tell us how the idea for these events came about and why you decided to create this combination.
Yeah. Actually, as I was telling you, I have learned to cook when I was a child, when I was a kid. So then I have done something completely different in my life. I worked in Salvatore Ferragamo, and then in another cooking school and event organization as an event manager. I studied economics, so it was something completely different. Then at some point I decided to leave everything and to start my own project. So this is a combination of my passion. So I love cooking, I play saxophone, I love opera. And also my family produce extra virgin olive oil and wine since 3 generations. So then I decided just to bring all my passions together, and then I think, okay, let's try to do something new. And then there's the reason why Opera in the Kitchen was born. Actually, yeah, so during our events, we cook together, we learn how to cook a full menu according to the old tradition. And then there is a dinner, and then at the end there is a live performance of the best arias of opera. So actually, you know, sorry if I'm doing like this, but it's I mean, it's very exciting for me to touch the flower. We are talking about my life when I was a kid, and at the moment I'm having flower here.
Yeah.
So it's nice memory for me, relaxing and touching this and thinking about my.
It must be such a nostalgic sensation that reminds you of your childhood and continue to now when you've launched this amazing business. So just to paint a picture for you guys, I mean, these events with Lucrezia are just amazing. They're often the highlight of our guests when they go to Tuscany. Sometimes you're in Puglia as well. But we go, you know, walk through the garden and gather vegetables, learn a bit about the source of the food and the high quality ingredients that we're using. And then we go into her kitchen, and as you can see, it's just a perfect, typical Tuscan kitchen. And you're just there in her home, and you get to learn these ancient techniques that have been passed down through her generations. To make pasta, and then to sit down after having made it yourself, gotten your hands dirty, taking a little break to have some Prosecco, which I think you're actually a sommelier as well, and taste her family's olive oil, and then to taste the food that you made. And then before dessert, you have this amazing opera performance right there in front of you, not on a stage where you are separated with many rows of audience between you and the singer, but right there. And then you can actually talk to the performers and ask them questions about their lives and their training. So it's a really immersive and really special experience.
Thank you. Yeah, so actually, you know, Sierra, I'm happy to be here because I'm calling from the countryside of Florence. So the events in general are just here. This is an old villa, dates back 1600. So can I move the camera?
Yeah, you want to show us?
So actually, sure. I'm happy to show. Yeah, you see, these are the old pieces here. Yeah. So the old floor. Yeah. So then everything is dates 1600, and also now actually here is 8 in the evening, so it's a bit difficult to show you outside because it's a bit dark. But we have our veggie garden, so we like to bring our guests there, just walk around the property. We have our vineyard with Sangiovese grape. We have our olive trees. So then you can pick fresh veggies, aromatic herbs, and then we will cook with the same ingredients. So this is one of the best parts, that people can see the origins of these products. So just now we have some fennel and onions. I love fennels, so this is full of fennels actually.
Amazing. Great. So let's jump into some tips for handmade pasta. So my first question for you is, what do you need to consider when you're choosing the type of flour to use? I know there are a lot of different types. I've even heard of using chestnut flour to make pasta. So can you kind of walk us through like how to choose the type of flour that's maybe most traditional pasta, and then some alternatives?
Yeah. Okay. First of all, I will tell you that my grandmother used to have 100% of semolina, which is durum wheat flour. Actually, this is the semola that I have just here. Now when I have cooking classes in general, when I cook also pasta for myself, I also add some 00 flour or pupu flour. just a little percentage. And we have another special kind of flour that is called the burn wheat flour, which is originally from South. How can I choose this? First of all, depends on the elasticity so that you want to give to your dough, because the all-purpose flour is rich of gluten, so then is more elastic. If you use semolina, for example, for making pasta, so 100% of semolina, and then when you work with your rolling pin or your pasta maker, then you see that the consistency is could be a bit tough actually. So then for that reason you add a little percentage as 20% of 00 flour for having more elasticity. Personally, I like to have 100% of semolina. I know that is a bit harder to work with your hands, but then it's just practicing, and then you will see that that is okay, because it's not rich of gluten, so it's rich of fibers and proteins, so it's really good also for your healthy. And sometimes, you know, we have here, as I was telling you, in the South Italy, there is this flour that is called the burn wheat flour. This is a brown flour, actually. And the story is interesting. Can I tell the story of the...
Yeah.
Yes, you know, so
Yeah.
I like talking, so...
Yes, one thing to interject before you tell the story, I just wanted to tell the Americans that are watching, you mentioned the type 00 flour. So
Yeah.
in Italy, you have a number that is assigned to how coarse or fine the grain is.
Exactly.
So
Yes.
in the US, you would just look for super fine flour.
Yes, I mean, I can say that is all-purpose flour, if you want to say all-purpose flour, yes. Or semola, you can find the semola, which is durum wheat. And yeah, you can make also with potato flour or chickpea flour when you have celiac, or I mean, this is a gluten-free option also. And yes, about the gluten-free, actually, this kind of flour that is burnt wheat flour, which is a bit difficult to find in the States, but is also in Italy, is not very easy to find this. You can find that in Puglia or in Campania. These are the two most famous regions where they have this, most in Puglia. And so poor people couldn't afford to buy the grain and make their own flour, so they could just go in the property after the owner or the person that was taking care of the land, everything was already burned, so then they could go there and pick the rest of the wheat. Everything was already burned, and then that's the reason why it's a burnt wheat, and the flour is called the burnt wheat flour. And the most interesting part is that this flour is naturally gluten-free. Is a bit difficult to find that, but it's really good. It's a bit strong of tasting. So in general, I like to have 100 grams, which is around almost 1 cup of semola, and a bit of something like 1 teaspoon of burnt wheat flour. I think you have already tasted that flour, right? Because we brought in the States last November.
Maybe.
Yes.
I'm not sure. Great. That's interesting. That's really interesting. It's also interesting because I'm seeing in Italy in the past few years this kind of renewal of these old traditions that were maybe more carried on by the poor people with their certain types of grains that maybe weren't preferable to the rich classes, but as more people became more comfortable in life, they would have the better ingredients, but now they're going back to these kind of ancient methods that are actually better for you in a lot of cases. So my next question, well, first just to recap, so you said the traditional flour that you use are the durum wheat semolina.
Yes.
And then if you want, you can add a little bit of fine flour.
Yes. For having a bit more elasticity. Then, of course, Sierra, for example, in these days we are making many cooking classes online, and I know that at the moment is a bit difficult to find the semola. So, of course, you can also make with 100% of all-purpose flour, which is okay. So it will be a bit easier when you work with your hands. But then my suggestion is try to have the semolina, then you will see the difference. I mean, this is interesting. Try to make first with all-purpose flour or first with semolina, and then the opposite. And then let us know what do you prefer most.
So how has the bite changed based on whether you used all-purpose flour or all semolina?
Yes, I can say that is more, how can I say, soft when you have the pasta with all-purpose flour.
It's softer. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I might have to do this experiment. I'm curious.
Yeah. Also for people that are joining us, I'm very curious to hear the feedback.
Yeah, speaking of which, I wanted to say hi. Hi, Jim. Thanks for tuning in. Ciao, Giovanni. Please leave questions if you have questions as we chat. So, Lucrezia, my next question for you is about the things that you add to the flour. So some pasta dough recipes call for some olive oil, some use eggs, some use just water. What's the difference, and how will the consistency change? Like, how does that change the end product?
Yeah, so first of all, I want to say that it depends on the kind of flour that you're using, and it depends on the origins of this kind of pasta, sorry. The combination of ingredients could be different. So for example, when you make the tagliatelle or the lasagna, or the sheet for the lasagna or the ravioli, all of these types of pasta are made with eggs. When you make pasta, for example, as cavatelli or orecchietti, these are just examples of kinds of pasta from South Italy. Then in that case, there are no eggs, but you use just water. So, for example, the cavatelli is a very old recipe, and poor people couldn't afford to have many eggs. And also because, of course, we cannot have eggs for over the years. So sometimes it depends on the month, actually. So during the winter is a bit more difficult. And then for that reason, the people in the past, the women, they used to prepare the pasta just with the water and the flour. So when you have eggs into the dough, then you have more elasticity into your dough. So for example, if we want to compare the cavatelli made with the flour and water, and the tagliatelle, for example, or the ravioli made with flour and eggs, then you can work with the rolling pin or with the pasta maker if you have the eggs into your dough, but you cannot work with a pasta maker if you're working just with the water and the flour, because you don't have any elasticity. In general, I don't use any olive oil, but because my grandmother didn't use these, and when you have already water, when you have already eggs, so it's difficult to find people that also have oil inside. These are the old style techniques.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so as you're mixing the flour with the egg, let's say we're doing a traditional dough for ravioli or tagliatelle. So you'll have the pile of flour, you make a little well in the middle, and I learned this from you. So you crack the eggs in the little well, and then you slowly use your fork to incorporate, you kind of beat the eggs and slowly incorporate the flour into the eggs as you're mixing. So at some point you get your hands into it and get it all worked in, and then you have to reach the right consistency, right? So it might be a little dry, so you'd have to add some water, or it might be wet and you'd have to add more flour. So tell us a bit about that step. How can you tell that it needs to be adjusted, and how do you adjust it?
Yeah, you feel into your hands when you make a dough. Then, if it's still crumbling, if you can see a lot of flour around the cutting board, it means that you need a bit more liquid part. And in general, the portion are almost 1 cup of flour, a bit more than half cup of flour, which is 100 grams of flour here, and 1 medium egg side. So we mix everything together. Then if you see that it's still a bit crumbling, we will add a bit of water. So we don't have other eggs, but just a bit of water is enough. So you will see into your hands that is not sticky into your hands, is not dried anymore. And also in particular, when you make a dough, then you need to work with the palm of your hand, you need to knead on the table, and then you need to give a bit more elasticity, so the dough is becoming smoother and smoother, and then you will see then it's ready when you make a ball, touching your hands, and it's not sticky, not dried anymore. And you see that if you do like this into your hands, if you stretch into your hands, there is a good elasticity.
Mhm. And you also taught us a trick of poking it, right?
Yes.
So you poke it, and if your mark stays, then, or you want it to come out of it, right?
Yes, come up a bit. Of course, it's not like poof, because sometimes people do. But it's a nice joke, that you can touch also your dough, and you see the elasticity in that way. Yes.
Yeah, that test elasticity. Okay, so it should come back a little bit, but not all the way.
Yes.
Okay, so that's kind of has to do with my next question. How does time factor into it? I know with bread, there's a science to how long you let it sit and it getting more elastic, and the yeast and the gluten and all that. So with pasta, how does time change the dough, and does it change as you let it sit, or you need to use it immediately, or does it matter?
I want to say two things. Okay, first of all, we don't have any yeast into our dough, so you don't need to let rest as when we make bread. Then, if you want, if you have time, it could be better to let rest for half hour, 20 minutes, covered under a bowl. So then in that case, you are not getting the crust on top, so it's not gonna be dried. And then you let the rest, and then you will see you will have more elasticity. So then it will be better when you work with your pasta maker or your rolling pin.
Okay, so it is helpful to let it sit for about
Yes,
how long?
I mean, if sometimes when I have some people at dinner and they call me, oh, we are coming there, are you making pasta? Yes, of course. Then I don't have enough time for making, then I can go just straight and make pasta. So I don't rest, but it's not a big deal, no, if you don't let rest for a few minutes, it's okay. Just when I will work with a rolling pin or pasta maker, then I will cut my dough, for example, in 2, 3, 4 parts, depends how big is our dough. And then while I'm working with the little piece, I will keep under the bowl covered the other pieces. Otherwise, they are gonna be dried.
Gotcha. Okay, so now we're to the stage of really making the pasta. So you take your portion of dough that you've removed from the whole ball of dough,
Yeah.
And if you're using a rolling pin, you're gonna burn some calories and roll it out. Or if you have a pasta maker, you roll it through the pasta maker. So I'm never quite sure how thin to make the pasta. Is this personal preference, or I'm sure it has to do with the type of pasta you're trying to make as well, but let's assume ravioli, because I think that's what Americans mostly love.
Yeah, depend. To be honest, depends the kind of the pasta that you are making. So, for example, in my opinion, it's something like very personable. So, because if I remember, my grandmother used to have a pasta that was not very thin. And I love this. And then also because when you cook, you will have also a bit al dente. So it's something that I really like it. Then when you make ravioli, then consider that then you will fold our dough. Then it's better to have a thinner dough compared with the tagliatelle, because then in that case you need to make two different layers, no, the first one and then the filling, and then on top the other layer. Mm-hmm. And also, yeah, the tagliatelle, the lasagna, I don't like to have a very, very thin dough. So I cannot suggest you, unfortunately. If you are, I mean, if you are rolling, then you will decide, of course. But if you have a pasta maker, I'm sorry, I cannot suggest you the number. Because I have realized that there are many pasta makers now, many brands, and if I say maybe stop at number 7, maybe for other companies, other brands actually, that is the first, the thickest level. So it depends on the KitchenAid and also.
Okay, so another thing that I learned in Italy is that, well, in the US, we will put any type of sauce on any type of pasta, but in Italy, there are actually certain shapes of pasta for certain types of sauce. Can you tell us more about this and what goes with what?
Yeah, about this, I want to say that depends on the region. So of course, every region, every pasta, every kind of pasta has their own sauce, because it depends on the region of the pasta. And then I like to say that it depends on the season, because in Italy, most of us in the countryside will love to have our fresh ingredients, and then we'll like to cook. So for example, this is a good time for butternut squash, and today I just prepared the ravioli with butternut squash and the ricotta. The traditional recipe is with the spinach and ricotta, but then of course, if you come now, I would love to prepare you butternut squash, ravioli, and the ricotta.
Non vedo l'ora. I can't wait.
Brava, Sierra, come to visit us. Bring everybody here. We miss everybody.
I know, we miss you so much. I can't wait for things to go back to normal and we can get back in your kitchen. Lucrezia, I'm wondering, there's so many types of pasta. I'm always amazed every time I'm traveling to a new area. I learn about a type of pasta that I never imagined existed. What's your favorite? Do you have a favorite? Like, just talking about the shape of pasta, not the sauce.
Yes, the tagliatelle and the cavatelli are two of my favorites. Cavatelli, because these are originally cavatelli and orecchiette, which are both similar about dough, and these are from the South Italy. You know, I was born actually, and I soon made cavatelli and orecchiette, so these are good memories for me. Then if I have to say the tagliatelle with the bolognese sauce, I really love them. If the bolognese sauce is good, I love them.
Yes, I know everyone has their own version of the bolognese.
Yeah. Also now with porcini, this is a good about the season, and now is a good moment for porcini, for mushrooms.
Mm.
So for with the truffle.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, the porcini mushrooms you'll see in the markets in Italy. They're these huge mushrooms they find in the woods. Amazing.
Yeah.
And here at my house, we have shiitake mushrooms that my father grows. Shiitake mushrooms and pearl oyster mushrooms. We had that in some pasta the other day. So we do our
Oh,
best to keep up with Italy.
I mean, you also live, I went to visit you, and I have to say that you also live in a really amazing place. So you have your fresh veggies. I mean, what's the best in making pasta? And you go in the veggie garden, pick some fresh aromatic herbs. Just have one zucchini with a bit of cherry tomatoes, and no.
Yeah, absolutely. You can taste the difference and you have so much more satisfaction making it all yourself.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, do
Enjoy
you have any other
the,
secrets to share about handmade pasta?
sorry,
Do
Siava?
you, do you have any other secrets to share about handmade pasta? Any tips or tricks that give you the really good final results?
Yeah, my grandmother used to say,
Yeah.
work with passion and love.
Oh,
So the mood could change the consistency of your dough. And if I have to be honest, I believe in this story. And my suggestion could be work with passion and love when you're making pasta. You know, sometimes when I'm, sometimes when you are not 100%, with your mood, I try to make pasta. I'm very nervous there. And then the pasta is not getting very well. And
mm,
then I believe in this story. So yeah, my secret could be work with passion and love, guys.
yeah, that's a good metaphor for life in general.
Yeah.
I love it. So guys, Lucrezia and I are offering online cooking classes. So if you would like to book a private experience for your office or your family or just your group of friends that you haven't been able to spend much time with during these strange times, please get in touch. You can reach me at Sierra at creativeedgetravel.com. That's SIERRA at creativeedgetravel.com. You can check out our website at creativeedgetravel.com. And you can book an experience with your classes are about 2 hours, I think, and we'll just hang out online and learn more hands-on all these different beautiful dishes, and not only pasta but lots of things as well.
Yes. Yes, they take 1 hour and a half, and in general we make a homemade pasta. We can make also eggplant parmigiana, tiramisu, and tagliatelle, so different kinds of pasta. And of course, we are also preparing a sauce. And can I tell about the little surprise that there is? Because this is a little, but I mean, is one of the best surprise during the experience is opera performance.
Tell me.
Yes, because even if it's online, Sierra, we are still trying to keep the concept of our project. So Opera in the Kitchen is good food, good people, nice people, and good view, good sunset, good wine, but of course also opera. So even if it's online, we like to give you the best experience, and there is a live performance of the best arias of opera, around 15 minutes, where there is a soprano singer actually that she is just arriving and is a live opera performance.
Yes, yes, amazing. I love it. Our guests have really loved that during the pandemic. They can try something new, break their routine up, connect with other people, and they always come out and like you can read our reviews online and you'll see that they always say how amazed they were that felt so intimate, even though it was just an online experience. They really felt like they had a connection with you and other people. So it's a really fun thing to do, especially if you have like a birthday or some kind of event to celebrate. It's really fun. Good memories.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else you want to share with us?
No, I mean that we hope to visit you in the States next November, as we have done last November, as you said at the beginning of the class. It was an amazing experience to come there and visit you and visit your families and visit also other guests that already have been here in the States, in Italy, and then we went there and we have been there for organizing the opera performance. So I was there with Matteo and with Chiara, the soprano singer. So we had so much fun. And we were planning to go back this November, but as you can imagine, we couldn't. So we have also space here. I mean, for staying overnight, we have 2 double rooms at our place, at our villa. So you are more than welcome, everybody, guys, to come here and stay here, have the experience with me, with Sierra. I hope Sierra is coming here and stay longer, because you promised us that you could come here and stay for 2-3 months. But
yes, I'm dreaming of it. Yeah, so yes, if you would like to get your name in the hat to have Lucrezia and Opera in the Kitchen and Creative Edge Travel come to your house and host a group of people there in person when they make their trip over here the next time, let us know. Yes. And we can set that up. Okay, well, this was so wonderful. It was really good to connect with you again and to hear your beautiful stories with your grandmother, learning how to make pasta. To have some of that knowledge carried on to us is really special, and hopefully we can put it to practice soon.
Yes, I mean, it's a really great pleasure to have this interview, this meeting online, this coffee together right now, because this is actually 1 year ago that we were there. I mean, I was trying to...
Yes. Photo?
I mean, I know that this is not planned, but I like to surprise you.
I love it.
Okay. So let's...
I don't know what you're going to show right now.
Yes, of course. Look at this. Can I... We were together.
Yay! I love that picture.
We were together in the States exactly 1 year ago.
No, that's true. I didn't realize the timing of this interview.
Yes, I mean, you are at your place.
Yes, everyone. That is...
Don't kill me for that, please. No.
No, it's great. It's great.
Yes. And the last one, which is for me my favorite, with the carrots.
Oh yes, you loved our carrots. Yeah.
These are the carrots from your garden. Yeah. Yes. One moment, just don't forget about this. Ta-da!
Coming. Thanks for checking out this live coffee chat. Oh, we got her back. Hi. You were frozen.
Okay, and now?
Now you're good.
Okay. Now I want you to show you the carrot as 1 year ago.
I love it. Oh, hopefully we can pull carrots again soon together.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sarah, for inviting me and Opera in the Kitchen as project at your wonderful meetings.
Thank you so much for coming and sharing your expertise and your passion and your beautiful energy. And hopefully I will bring more people to you soon, and we'll show them how to make pasta in real life.
Thank you.
Okay. Ciao.
Ciao.